In Cairo, he's unfeasible to miss how Egypt is possessing a president poll of Monday. Sisi's person is smeared on almost each road in slogans such as, affirmative, to house the next, and thou are the expect. Which is hard to discover are the more than suppressed posters of Sisi's slight known and just left competing, Moussa Mustafa Moussa. The absence of severe contest has painted the brutal conviction of critics who say Sisi has suppressed disagreement, but the CEO says he is not to accuse. It is not my error. I curse to deity, I willing down there would include been more than candidates for human beings to select who they wish. But they were not prepared still, down there is no embarrassment in the, Sisi told in a latter TV interviewing. We include more than rather than 100 parties. Include they fielded lot, candidates, or all. In reality, repeated candidates tested to come the racing, but all but one has with exited. The opposition blames Sisi's by the government for compressing capacity rivals via which they see as a policy of bullying. Ex-Main Secretary Ahmed Shafik announced his candidate in personality-imposed expulsion of the joint Arabic Emirates but withdrew on his back to Cairo. And Humane Rights attorney Khaled Ali told he withdrew his behalf following upcoming by blood pressure and cladding existing barriers receive on the voting. No a marionette but down there is one applicant who has controlled to stay on the voting. Moussa recorded and time up the definitive last date in deceased January. His recent minute candidate, by his own reception, is designed at avoiding a horse racing. How delicious the voice love a plebiscite on Sisi's guideline. CEO Sisi was departure one in the play, and if he waterfall, we all drop. Enemy include charged Moussa of creature a puppet applicant, authorized by the mode to offer the poll a veneer sheet of legality. Moussa admits he was a Sisi advocate up fleeing, but he insists his campaigning, run on a plate of job create, is true and how he would do a superior CEO. I wish to speak the human beings I'm there for actual. I'm there as a applicant readily and willing and needing to gain, Moussa told. Human beings requirement to know how I was not driven in as a marionette for nobody. A modified Egypt the poll, however, is creature-wide deliberate a fictitious voice and is else strike to the goals of the 2011 coup, told HRA. Hellier, a non-resident elder comrade at the Atlantic Justice, a US-based believe pot. He told Egyptian authorities believed how enabling area for several disagreement for the guideline of CEO Hosni Mubarak was which led to the 2011 rebellion. As the thought goes, if you offer disagreement a box of prospect, though if a bounded one, it could evolve. So I believe a lot of the authorities are rather precise on opposed, how box of prospect, quite rather than run the hazard of else 2011. But by almost each index, lifetime for Egyptians with 2011 has gotten worst. The price of residing has enlarged, bloating has diminished the importance of salaries, civil liberties include been cut and the growth of terror has led to more dangerous situation. Same authorities utilize torment and some bad treatment and forced extinction versus hundreds of human beings, and many decades were extrajudicially executed in impunity, the paper reads. Random arrests and detentions accompanied by extremely unjust testing of by the government critics, peace protesters, journalists and humane rights defenders were usual. The broad world society has pronounced anxiety on the forthcoming poll, but one vote is considerably lacking. The U.S. has spurred Egypt in the history for more democratic reformation, but by CEO Donald Trump card, such a blood pressure has all but disappeared. While defect CEO Pence attended Egypt in January, fair following several visible challengers had been sidelined of the racing, Pence did not do any social statements on the forthcoming poll and told his nation's relation in Egypt has never been much stronger. Will Sisi drag his capture? The chairmanship is a job Sisi is hardly to miss. In spite the interdiction on civilian civil liberties, Sisi has throngs of true supporters who claim how lot of his harsh measures include been required to give procedure to Egypt following the havoc of the rebellion. Its accomplishment on the land can just be rejected by the clueless and odious, Samer Haredi, a voluntary for one of the greatest pro-Sisi groups, said Imab Newly. Ours goals can just be achieved by powerful, established management ardent on all the issues of the nation and in loving in each corn of grit on the earth, and how man is Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. A macro-analyze company, BMI study, is carefully upbeat on Egypt's next, in spite the capacity for more insecurity. In their Egypt poll view, they forecast CEO Sisi's expected win bodes so for future advance on Egypt's reformation driving and for industry mood and how the nation will be an economical outperformer in the Medium East area in 2018. In slight question how Sisi will win the poll, lot observers will be observer the strike. Strong involvement might encourage the CEO to try and changing the basic law restrictive his period framework. The basic law stipulates a CEO can just be re-elected one day. He comes of war intellect. I believe which we've seen so far is how down there is a psychological on him. He very believes how he is save Egypt and all of the way is on his shoulders.